January 20th, 2012. A mansion in New Zealand. Suddenly, a SWAT team surrounds it. Inside, Kim Dotcom clutches a shotgun, his $175 million empire collapsing in real time. Will he fire it? No, he will surrender, because he knows it's over. Why did we get here? And how did a hacker-turned-entrepreneur end as the target of a global manhunt? Long before he was .com, he was Kim Schmitz, a misfit kid with a keyboard in Kiel, Germany. It's the early 1990s, and young Kim finds escape in the glow of computer screens. He adopts the alias Kimball, inspired by the fugitive doctor in a 1960s TV show. The name fits. Kim sees himself as a digital outlaw. By his late teens, he's bragging about hacking into NASA and even the Pentagon. Authorities would later dispute some of these claims, but the legend of Kimball is born. What isn't disputed is his talent for breaking into systems. By the early 1990s, he's running a bulletin board service trading pirated software and stolen calling card numbers. Eventually, authorities catch on. In 1994, Kim is arrested, and in 1998, he's convicted on multiple counts of computer fraud and data espionage. The judge lets him off with a 2-year suspended sentence, calling it youthful foolishness. Kim walks free, grinning. Already he understands the power of playing the lovable rogue. By the early 2000s, Kim is turning his hacker fame into fortune. In 2001, he orchestrates an investment scheme, pumping up the stock of a nearly bankrupt company. He quietly buys a ton of shares in a struggling .com company, then loudly announces he's going to invest 50 million euros in it. The stock price soars on the news. Kim sells his stake at the peak, netting around $1.5 million in profit, then casually backs out of the investment. Again, Kim wiggles away with just probation. He's got money, notoriety, and a taste for bending rules to his advantage. But how many times can you cheat the system before the system starts paying attention? By his mid-20s, Kim Schmitz reinvents himself as Kim Dotcom, a surname flaunting his love for the booming internet. He leaves Germany looking to shed his criminal past like a second skin. After a stint in Hong Kong and Thailand, he surfaces with a bold new venture, an online file storage service. In 2005, Megaupload goes live. Kim is 30 years old with big ambitions. He pitches Megaupload as the YouTube of file sharing, a place anyone can upload videos, music, or documents and get a handy download link to share. No clogged email attachments, no questions asked. The idea is simple, and it explodes in popularity. Kim Dotcom has just set in motion his grandest hack yet. Not of computers, but of the entertainment industry itself. Megaupload was making millions. But how long could Dotcom keep playing with fire before someone got burned? Almost overnight, Megaupload becomes a global phenomenon. By the late 2000s, it boasts 50 million daily users and over 150 million registered accounts. At its peak, it's the 13th most visited website on the planet, responsible for a staggering 4% of all internet traffic. Whenever you download a funny video or a new song from the web back then, there's a good chance Megaupload is involved. Users around the world are uploading files to Kim's service and sharing the links far and wide. Music albums, Hollywood blockbusters, entire TV series, all just a click away for free. And with each file download, Kim Dotcom gets a little richer. The money pours in from advertising and millions of premium subscriptions sold to users who want faster downloads. By 2010, Kim reportedly pays himself $42 million in a single year. He starts living like internet royalty. Picture a 6'7" tall man cruising around New Zealand in a convoy of luxury cars, Rolls-Royce, Mercedes, even a bright pink Cadillac, with vanity plates that read, Hacker, Mafia, God. He leases a sprawling $30 million mansion in the countryside, complete with its own palm-lined driveway and a giant .com mansion sign at the gate. At home, he's surrounded by giant TV screens, life-sized statues of guns, and a small army of household staff. He flies private jets, throws lavish parties with fireworks displays, and even donates to local charities to cast himself as an eccentric benefactor. Kim was living like a king, but what happens when the king dares his enemies to take him down? .com's boldness wasn't confined to spending money. He also loved taunting his enemies. In late 2011, as Hollywood studios seethed over Megaupload's popularity, Kim made an outrageous move. He released a music video called The Mega Song. It featured A-list celebrities, from rapper Kanye West to actress Kim Kardashian, and even tennis star Serena Williams, all singing Megaupload's praises. It was a brazen public poke at the entertainment industry, practically daring them to come at him. Kim Dotcom seems unstoppable. He's not hiding in the shadows, he's bragging about his success to the world. In interviews, he insists he's just running a legitimate file storage business, not doing anything wrong. I respect copyright. What I don't respect is copyright extremism, he jokes, turning the argument back on the entertainment industry. To his millions of users, Kim positions himself as a sort of Robin Hood of the digital age, taking from the rich studios and giving the people what they want. But behind the scenes, Hollywood studios and record companies are boiling with anger. To them, Kim Dotcom is no folk hero. He's a piracy kingpin siphoning away their profits. Every illegal movie download via Megaupload is a ticket unsold, a royalty unpaid. By their count, Dotcom's empire is costing content creators over $500 million in lost revenue. They start pressuring governments to act. Lawsuits pile up. Political lobbyists rally for a crackdown on foreign rogue websites like Megaupload. Dotcom brushes it all off publicly, but the noose is tightening. He just doesn't see it yet. As Kim parties in his mansion and tops the leaderboards of Call of Duty, he literally became the #1 ranked Modern Warfare 3 player in the world. A storm is brewing. Kim was trolling Hollywood in public. But how long before the studios called in a bigger weapon, like the US government? By late 2011, the showdown between Kim Dotcom and the entertainment industry is reaching a fever pitch. In Washington, D.C., lobbyists for Hollywood are pushing hard for new anti-piracy laws. One proposal, the Stop Online Piracy Act, SOPA, threatens to give authorities sweeping power to shut down sites like Megaupload. The internet revolts. On January 18, 2012, major websites go dark in protest, and SOPA collapses under public outcry. Kim Dotcom celebrates, tweeting triumphantly from his mansion. He thinks he's dodged a bullet. He couldn't be more wrong. What Dotcom doesn't know is that the US government has been secretly building a case against him for months, if not years. Hollywood's anger has translated into action at the highest levels of law enforcement. The FBI and the US Department of Justice have teamed up with authorities from New Zealand, Hong Kong, the Netherlands, Germany, and more to take down the mega conspiracy, as they dub it. On January 5, 2012, a grand jury in Virginia indicts Kim Dotcom and 6 of his top associates. The indictment accuses the Megaupload group of running an international organized criminal enterprise that earned more than $175 million in criminal proceeds and caused over $500 million in losses to copyright holders. The charges read like something out of a mob movie: racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy to commit copyright infringement, and more. Essentially, the US is painting Dotcom not as a mere facilitator of piracy, but as the kingpin of an organized crime ring profiting off stolen intellectual property. The FBI had already written the charges, but would they catch Kim off guard? Or would he see it coming? 2 weeks later, the hammer drops. January 19, 2012. While the world is still buzzing about the SOPA victory, US officials unseal the Megaupload indictment. That same day, law enforcement raids hit Megaupload servers around the globe. The site is pulled offline without warning. Visitors to Megaupload.com suddenly see an FBI anti-piracy notice in place of their beloved download links. Data centers in the US, the Netherlands, and Canada are seized. Back in New Zealand, plans are set in motion for a coordinated dawn raid on Dotcom's estate. Kim Dotcom, completely unaware, is in party mode. The night of January 19th, he hosts a lavish birthday barbecue at the mansion, complete with balloons and a gigantic cake, to ring in his 38th birthday, which technically starts at midnight. He's literally celebrating when the takedown begins. As guests filter out in the wee hours, Dotcom heads to bed feeling on top of the world. His website is making millions. His legal worries seem far away. But by the time he woke up, he wouldn't be a tech mogul anymore. he'd be a fugitive. January 20th, 2012. The silence around the Dotcom mansion is broken by the thumping rotors of helicopters. Suddenly, boom! Armed officers pour through the estate's doors. They are met with stunned faces of house staff and overnight guests. Chaos. Kim Dotcom's pregnant wife, Mona, is grabbed and held at gunpoint, separated from their terrified children. Panicked nannies huddle under armed guard in the rain. Upstairs, Dotcom hears the commotion and realizes this is it. The police are here for him. He dashes into a secret safe room hidden in the mansion's upper level. Outside, dozens of black-clad officers from New Zealand's elite anti-terror unit are clearing rooms one by one. They have automatic weapons, breaching gear, and attack dogs. This is no ordinary warrant service. It's a full-blown assault. In total, 76 officers and 2 helicopters have been deployed to capture a single man. It takes them minutes to break through the high-tech locks to Dotcom's safe room. When they finally rip the door open, they find Kim Dotcom inside, red-faced and trembling, a short-barreled shotgun lying just out of his reach. He doesn't resist as they cuff his hands behind his back. Outside, the sun is rising over Coatesville. The mega empire is collapsing in real time. 3 of Dotcom's top lieutenants are arrested on the property alongside him. Officers seize a trove of luxury goods, 18 exotic cars, including a Rolls-Royce Phantom, sports cars with those ironic vanity plates, giant TVs, and stacks of hard drives. All told, authorities freeze about $175 million of Dotcom's assets across bank accounts worldwide. The feds had everything: servers, sports cars, even Dotcom's hard drives. But would they have enough to put him away? Back in the US, the Justice Department crows that this takedown has gutted a criminal network responsible for enormous piracy. They call it a warning to other tech entrepreneurs who might be abetting theft over the internet. As Kim Dotcom is perp-walked out of his mansion and into a police van, cameras flash. The man who once lived like an internet kingpin now looks disheveled, bewildered. Within hours, the news rockets around the globe. Megaupload is dead. Users everywhere panic as they discover they can't access their files. The media paints Dotcom as the flamboyant pirate king, finally brought to justice. And for the first time in his life, Kim sits in a jail cell, denied bail as a flight risk. By any standard, this seems like the end for Kim Dotcom and his empire. Yet, even as he languishes in prison that first night, Dotcom insists this fight isn't over. In fact, the battle has only moved to a new arena, the courtroom. But could the US actually drag him out of New Zealand and into an American courtroom? Taking down Megaupload turned out to be only half the fight. The next battleground was New Zealand's courtrooms, and Kim Dotcom was not about to go quietly. With a team of high-powered lawyers, he launches a legal counteroffensive that turns his case into a years-long spectacle. Almost immediately, cracks appear in the prosecution's handling of the raid. In June 2012, a New Zealand High Court judge rules the search warrants used on Dotcom's mansion were invalid. They were overly broad and illegal. Even more shocking, it comes out that US agents copied Dotcom's data and shipped it offshore without permission, a move the judge also slams as unlawful. These blunders embarrass the authorities and give Dotcom a lifeline. Within a month, he's released on bail, back home with his family. Over the next few years, Kim Dotcom becomes a public figure in New Zealand, portraying himself as a martyr for internet freedom. He's out of jail, active on social media, and unbowed. In 2013, astonishingly, he even launches a new file-sharing service called Mega, this time with built-in encryption to try to shield users, and himself, from government snooping. He also founds a political party, railing against surveillance and extradition. Dotcom gains a following of sympathetic supporters who see the US prosecution as heavy-handed, perhaps even a dangerous precedent. But his legal troubles are far from over. The extradition case winds its way through hearing after hearing. US prosecutors relentlessly push to have Dotcom and his co-accused shipped to America to stand trial. Dotcom's team fights back at every turn, appealing each decision. The process drags on for over a decade, an almost unheard of delay in extradition. There are moments when it looks like Dotcom might win outright, or that the US might give up. But the Department of Justice does not back down. In 2020, New Zealand's Supreme Court finally rules that .com can indeed be extradited to the US on most of the charges, though it also acknowledges some rights were breached during the raid. The final decision is left to New Zealand's Justice Minister, and successive ministers hesitate to sign the order. That raises the most important question. The court said yes. But would the government actually pull the trigger? All the while, the cast of characters narrows. One Megaupload programmer, fatigued by the long fight, voluntarily went to the US years ago and pleaded guilty to a lesser charge. Two of .com's closest colleagues, Matthias Ortman and Bram van der Kolk, strike a deal with New Zealand prosecutors in 2023. They plead guilty to reduced charges, and in exchange, the US drops their extradition. Another co-founder, Finn Batato, fell ill and passed away in Germany in 2022. Kim Dotcom is now essentially alone in this battle. Finally, in late 2023, the news .com dreaded arrives. New Zealand's Justice Minister signs the extradition order for Kim Dotcom. After 12 years of legal skirmishes, it seems he will be sent to the United States to face the music. But in true .com fashion, he doesn't surrender. He tweets defiantly, "Don't worry, I have a plan," hinting at yet another last-ditch legal maneuver. On 15 August 2024, the new Minister of Justice, Paul Goldsmith, signed .com's extradition order. As of today, .com remains in New Zealand. Will Kim Dotcom finally be put on a US plane in handcuffs, or will he find a way to escape American justice? Kim Dotcom hacked the entertainment industry and paid the price. But what happens when hackers don't just fight studios? They sell your identity to the highest bidder. You can check it in our video about Genesis Market, the dark web's Amazon for stolen identities.